And the other thing I wanted to show you is, let me just, take a step back here and talk a little bit about the fact that they have all of these worksheets in here, and these are awesome. Okay. And I don't know if you've had time to go through them, but the one thing that I found out, so let me go in here. Like if you look at the ones, training computer to recognize numbers, these actually, like for example, this Pac-Man one, this will give you all of the code where you can go in and you can play the Pac-Man game yourself. But what you're actually doing, you start in Machine Learning for Kids, you start the project over there, you open the Scratch program and you play the game, and it's actually in a recording data mode where every time you click to move your character, it's recording what you're doing and what the ghost is doing. So it's collecting data. Okay. So then you go back to Machine Learning for Kids, and do I still have it in here? You go back to Machine Learning for Kids and you run that. Yes, I do. Okay. So when I played the game, your choices are to click the left, the right, the up, or the down arrow. And every time I do that, you can see that I played the game for a little while. There's 57 of these, 67. It was collecting this data and sending it back to Machine Learning for Kids. So your next step is, after you play the game, you against the ghost, you come back here and you train it. And then you go back into your Scratch program and you have to make some changes. The worksheet takes you through all of that, what changes that you need to make. And then you just let it play. It plays itself. So it has learned from you playing. And really, it's a really, really simple version of Pac-Man. And I found out that after I played it for a while that, you never lose. It just keeps going and going and going. It's just always one step ahead of the ghost. But here's my thing. It was a bit overwhelming to come in and to do that worksheet right off the bat. I'm like, oh, wow, they give you everything you have to do. They give it to you step by step, which is good. But the way I think is, I'm like, wait, where's this data coming from? Where are those numbers coming from? What are they doing? So here's what I did, and here's what I wanted to show you.
That was the question that was going through my head as you were explaining that. Wait a
minute,
where are those numbers?
It's a lot. It is a lot. So here's where I suggest you start, is go to the pre-trained menu. And what they have in here, like when Sarah was showing us face detection, and that one thing that was showing us like, oh, that's a forehead, or that's an eye, right? Or pose detection, okay, where there's that one activity where it locates all the different parts of your body. So those AI models, you can pull into your Scratch program. And you use it with your webcam, and you can collect the data. So what I decided to do is I decided to start with one of these pre-trained models and to just use it to see what's going on, and to have a conversation with my students about how it's taking this video of me and it's abstracting it down into numbers. Okay, so do I have one of these open? Okay, I do. So what I did, and by the way, how you start is you go to Scratch 3, and then you come down to these extensions, this little plus sign that's down here in the bottom left corner, and you scroll down, and here's the face detection. Here's pose detection. Here's hand detection. All right, so I'm going to click on hand detection, and it literally gives you one new block. And you're like, okay, all right. And that's okay, it's okay. Now, what the next thing we want to do though, is we want to bring in the video camera. So go back to the extensions and click on video sensing. Okay. And what I did next, and I'm going to turn my camera off now so it doesn't get messed up. Okay. Hopefully it's not messed up already. It probably is because I think it comes in with the video camera on. I'm going to turn it off and turn it on again and see if it works. Okay, so this is one thing I'm learning about doing this. I have to start over again. For me, yeah, we need to start this. I got to go back into ML for Kids. Got to start this with the camera off already. Pre-trained, Scratch 3. Let's see if I can do this. Come in, turn on video sensing. Okay, good. All right. So I had to make sure my camera was off first so that I can get that to work. All right, go back into extensions, come down, get hand detection, get my one single block, right? And what I did next is I'm going to create a sprite. I'm going to create it with paint, but I'm going to leave it blank. Okay. Just leave it blank because what I want to do is I want to capture a picture that I'm going to take. And then I want it to use the model to get data from that. So I can go over here now and I can delete Scratch because all I'm doing is I really just want to see that data. So I went in and I made some variables and so I'm going to just have it recognize my thumb X just to keep it simple. And I'm going to make it look for my thumb Y. All right. And I have to cheat and I got to look at my codes. I got to put my code over here. All right. Let me go back. Which one am I in? I have too many open. There it is. It's one with the camera on, silly. All right. So got to set my video transparency to 0 so it can see. All right. So I am going to. Oh, by the way, so what I did is I have it be able to turn the camera off. I found out that it's better to turn the camera off in between and only turn the camera on when you want to use it. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to click off. And then this time I'm going to do the event. I'm going to, when the space key is pressed would probably be better. And when the space key is pressed, go to looks. I'm going to hide because it's going to have, like, as I'm taking pictures, you want to hide the previous costume before you turn your camera on. And then the camera turning on takes a little bit of while. So just put some seconds in there. And plus this also gives you a couple of seconds to get your pose ready before you go to the image block that saves the screenshot to the costume. Okay. So hide anything from previous, then turn your video on, get some time to pose. All right. And then save your screenshot. And now we're ready. I want to go back in and I'm going to show that screenshot and turn the video off because we're done with it now. It was literally just there to take a picture. And then here is the point where I'm going to go back to my variables. I only made 2 of them. And one of them is thumb X and the other is thumb Y. And I go down to these hand sensing. Here's my one block. Oops, I want to drag it over. Boop. All right, so find X coordinate of, and here, now that I'm clicking on this, you can see when you choose to use this model, here are all the things that it collects. It goes to the picture I just took, and it uses its image recognition on the different parts of a hand to identify within that picture what is the coordinate, what is the coordinates, X and Y coordinates of all these different things that could be found on a hand. Okay, so I just did thumb, so I'll do tip of thumb, X coordinate of the tip of thumb, and then I want the Y coordinate. Oops, it's going to run that. Uh-oh. Guess I should have done it over here. Y coordinate. Oh, it's okay. I know why. It's trying to take a picture. Silly me. Stop, 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 stop running. I think I broke it. Did I break it? Because I probably clicked it like 6 times.
Oh no, that's a terrible message to get.
This happened to me yesterday. So there we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, cool. I'm back. Let me fix this. Yeah. So reminder, you probably should do the setup. Why won't it let me change it? Oh my goodness. Does it have to be in something? There it does, apparently. Of the, we said tip of thumb, right? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? There it is. And now I can put this back together. I'm going to restart this. Cool. So here we go. When the space key is pressed, my camera comes on. I'm going to put my thumb up. It took the picture, and then I don't know if you folks let me go full screen. So, and I actually had to remind myself of the X and Y coordinates in Scratch Canvas. The center is 0, 0. So it's a regular XY coordinate system. So you can see it's predicting that the tip of the thumb is over here at -46 for the X and at 2.3 for the Y. Okay. So I could see having a nice conversation with the kids. So the one that I did the wrist, the thumb, and the pinky, and I did it, you know, with my hand in multiple different ways. So it's like, okay, so what could we do with this data? So if you've got, you know, advanced kids, it's like, okay, let's analyze. So here's an AI model that we're using to collect data, right? And we know that we can take this data and we can pass it back to machine learning for kids. So what would we want to train? Anybody have any ideas? Knowing that I can track my fingers' locations and what they're doing?
Counting on your fingers.
Counting, good, awesome. That's a good idea. I hadn't thought of that one before.
Can you use it for sign language? I don't know.
Exactly, sign
Yeah.
language.
Oh yeah, that's
Yes.
a good one. That's a
Yep.
good- yeah.
And somebody mentioned something yesterday that I'm thinking of and has to do with your hand.
Rock, paper, scissors.
There you go. And if you look, there is a worksheet for rock, paper, scissors, and it uses this pre-trained model. So if I wanted to, this is what I would do. I'm not saying how you would do it, but this is what I would do. I would go through this exercise first with my kids so that they understand how it's training. Where's it getting this data from? What the heck are we doing with all they don't even use all the fingers. They pick certain ones. They tell you which ones to do. And I'm like, I was overwhelmed looking at the worksheet. Now, if I went back and look at that worksheet, I've got a better understanding of what's going on. So I don't know. I thought that was really cool. And the one other thing is, you know, looking at this just very quickly, we could also have a conversation about the numbers. So as you can see, I've got my right hand and my left hand. So it's a very simple thing, like, can I tell just by looking at the numbers if I'm holding up my right hand or my left hand? Right?
Oh, that ties in with math and coordinate planes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is big idea too, right? This is that idea of.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely. Making reasoning about the number, and also the fact
Yes.
that, okay, it's a picture. We see a hand, but we're using the numbers. We're going to only use numbers to train it. Nothing to do with the picture. Just those numbers. Right. So I went and had fun with the face detection model. I'm sorry you have to look at my picture here. But yes, so I did myself. And I checked out the values, you know, it's like, okay, I get, and then, so I have these Pez here, by the way, and yeah. So I put the Pez up and I'm like, wait, those numbers are weird. I don't know if, can you folks see those numbers and tell me why did I say those numbers look weird? for the picture on the right.
Oh,
Is it recognizing your face and not the rabbit?
Yes. Yeah. It found my face and not the rabbit's. Yep, exactly. So I thought that was cool.
wait,
Um,
how did you get that?
Well, knowing that 0, 0 is in the center,
Mhm.
and we're looking at nose. So the rabbit's nose is probably negative Y, but
Okay.
I'm getting a positive Y and a positive X, and actually a pretty big positive X. So it's picking up my nose over here.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
and looking at the Y's too for the eyes. They're up at 70, whereas this, yeah. So yeah, you have to get used to the coordinate system too, and taking a look at those numbers. So I thought that was pretty cool. Another thing, I don't know, I just put this in here, is the fact that every time you take a picture, it creates a new costume. And as you saw, when I saved it to my computer, I saved the Scratch program to my computer, and when I pulled it back up, all those costumes were still there. So I had data, which I thought it was useful. Okay, so there seems to be, some issue with, like, if I give you my Scratch program, you probably can't use it because you don't have the model. But hopefully you'll be able to open it and see the block.